Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? It is Flash back with some more charts and another video. Today is April 1st, 2024. It's about 3:45 p.m. Eastern, about 15 minutes just short of the market closing, and what a day it is. What a day it is for our uranium stocks. We have a green day. I think it's a big green day that we've been waiting for, right? If you've been following my videos for the last few weeks, month or two, this is what I'm talking about. And so, gonna go through a lot of these tickers today. Just kind of give a brief general update. Where we're at in this uranium bull market, where we're at versus the S&P 500 versus gold. Two big things that we want to keep track of, and where we're at compared to the general uranium URA index. And so just to kind of review where we're at, we closed March green candle, just kind of tested support right here, and we quickly shot right up on April 1st. And so let's go into the weekly, see what that looks like. It looks amazing, guys. We are in this little accumulation cylinder. It looks like, it also looks so good on the Heiken Ashi. I mean, this is what dreams are made of, right? So let's go on to the daily. We'll get real granular here, and look how strong this candle is. Again, about 14 minutes until close, but man, that's the candle we want to see bouncing off of this first support. And so, like I said, this is a stair step. Up one step, hopefully up the second step up here. And yeah, we're kind of just bouncing right off this first stair step. So love to see it. Love to see a strong green day. And so URNM up 5.7%, URNJ up 5.47%. So all pretty similar big green candles. And yeah, let's go through our leaders first. So we're going to start off with CCJ. And I mean, this is just business as usual, folks. Business as usual. You know, there's a gap here, I think, and I'm really just not too concerned. We may come back down and fill it. We might not. Like, no one really knows. Yes, maybe gaps get filled, but I think that's more so on the ETFs rather than the individual stocks themselves. And I could be wrong. But CCJ looking beautiful. Let's look at it versus at the S&P. Again, kind of in this accumulation cylinder. If we want to look at it versus gold, it's been outperforming gold pretty good. And gold is actually recently broken out. So, man, you love to see it. And then versus URA, holding steady in this uptrend. I mean, looks what a beauty. What a beauty CCJ is. You know, we're at the highs from '07. I think we can keep marching up here in this channel. We'll see. Next up is Bannerman. You know, one of my favorites here. I mean, this is just what you want to see. Amazing. Well, this is an Aussie stock, so I believe those markets were closed today, actually. So Bannerman may have some catching up to do tomorrow. We may see Bannerman up here, maybe at the high in $4 territory. We will see. We will see. Boss Energy, I believe, is similar. Let's see if we have any data from today. Yeah, so Boss Energy, we don't have any data on today, but I am expecting a nice jump. Same with Paladin. Encore, this one does have data, and it's nice and strong up here, continuing this march out of the bull flag. Man, and look, I mean, Encore is just such a leader. Let's look at some of the ratios versus the S&P. Huge base breakout and some continuation, it looks like. Let's look at Encore versus gold. Looking good. Encore versus the general index. You know, maybe we broke down, but it looks like we're just kind of consolidating, going sideways against URA. And so once we get clear this horizontal, that's when Encore is going to really start outperforming. FSY, I think this is also another Aussie stock. Oh no, we do have data here. Okay, still green, 4.5%. UEC looking good. And then Next Gen is one I really wanted you guys to see. Like, Next Gen is such a leader, such a beauty. You know, I think this channel's valid. It looks valid to me. And then you have the spike here in 2020. But man, $8.45. It's up 8.3% today, and this one could be a banger if it continues. So keep an eye on next gen. You know, let's put a little star on the green star for the day. Great looking chart. Let's look at it versus the S&P 500. Breaking out, retest, resumption. Look at it versus gold. These lines are a little bit wonky, it looks like. Let's tighten these up. I mean, just constantly breaking out, consolidating versus gold. If gold is breaking out versus the S&P, which we think it's going to, we want to be outperforming gold. And then, yeah, versus URA. Next gen on fire. Absolutely on fire. You love to see it. And then, okay, so let's go through the middle of the pack. I mean, some of these have had big days. But I want to first talk about Centris, and I did some work on Centris. I found this other, like what appears to be a Livermore accumulation cylinder, but I'm connecting the lows from down here through here, and look where we're bouncing. We are bouncing right where we need to be bouncing, right on support. This is a great view of it. Parallel channel, touches a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, beauty bounce. So if we zoom out on the monthly, broke out of this little triangle, bull pennant, retest off of the triangle, and a retest of this double rail support here. So I would expect Centris to continue its climb upwards in this accumulation cylinder. And these things can be very, very powerful. It's kind of scary to say the least, but look at this. You know, we're bouncing where we need to be bouncing against the S&P, and we're bouncing where we need to be bouncing against gold. And we're bouncing where we need to be bouncing against URA. So Centris holding strong. It had me worried there for a little bit, but those are some nice looking candles. Elevate, we're not going to have any data on today because the markets are still closed from Easter, but I expect this one to have a nice little overnight bounce in Australia and pop up for us tomorrow. Sky Harbor, look at Sky Harbor. This is what I'm talking about. This was a red candle before. March was a red candle, but it reversed and put a nice solid green wick at the bottom. And now we're continuing this advance up right along our support, the edge of the bowl and the bottom of this channel. I really am liking what I see with Sky Harbor. And especially when you look at Sky Harbor versus the S&P, you kind of had this big rounded bottom for the last 15 years. I mean, super, super powerful base. Against gold, similar, rounded bottom, just waiting. We're patiently waiting. We're like lions in the trees. And then look at Sky Harbor versus URA. Another one, we're just waiting for this one to break out and outperform the sector as a whole. Love Sky Harbor. Laramide, up 14% today. Look at that little scary monthly candle there, but we're back above that support. And again, just doing what we're doing. I would say this is a nice little pullback, good time to accumulate, not financial advice, do your own research, but Laramide, I mean, what a beauty. Same thing, basing out rounded bottom versus the S&P, rounded bottom versus gold, and kind of going sideways against the general index, but can make an argument that this is going to continue upwards. Love to see it. Energy fuels, you know, I'm trying to make this one pop. I think there's a lot of upside here. This one you really have to be patient with. It's in the middle of the pack for a reason, but we're above support, found support, and we're looking good. If we want to look at the distance percentage from the moving average, I think it's the 3-year moving average in this case. You know, there's an upward sloping trend line. Looks like we're making some support, and we are close to a breakout from a momentum perspective on U. Against the S&P, got some work to do. Against gold, kind of a sideways consolidation, not a terrible thing, especially if gold is going up. And then against the URA index, you know, we're going to see if this is a valid support line, valid bull. Took a beating here against URA, but we'll see. I still love the upside with energy fuels. I mean, you can kind of look at that as a pull, flag, pull. I mean, that's juicy. It's a 10 bagger at least. So we'll see. MGA Mega, I mean, look exactly where that bounced. This bounced right on the support line that I had drawn, closed the month right on it, and we popped right on it on April 1st. Middle of the pack, but man, such a bullish looking chart. Oh, I mean, Mega is approaching a breakout versus URA. When it's up here, that's a buy signal in my opinion. It already is. GLO, only up 2% today, nothing crazy. Again, this one needs just a little bit more time, I think, and it will still be an explosive stock. So this one you just have to be patient on, in my opinion, just like energy fuels. You know, we don't have a ton of data to compare it against the S&P or gold or URA, but again, just one we need to be patient on, in my opinion. UROY. I love UROY right here because look at this little cheeky little bounce right here if we want to zoom in on the weekly. I mean, that is a beauty of a bounce. Great little buy area right here. And then, where's my brush? I always lose the brush here it is, sorry. Kind of have you almost have a inverse head and shoulders right here, which is really neat. Again, just kind of got to be a little bit patient. If we want to pull up UROY versus the S&P, we don't have any lines here, but we can kind of go like that. And this one's breakout back test versus gold, maybe. You want to clear these highs. That looks kind of nice. Again, a little cheeky. It's been lagging URA though, and that's why it's in the middle of the pack. Kind of have a parallel trend line here against URA. But I mean, bullish chart. Bullish consolidation into some sort of bullish, you know, I mean, URA is over here in this broadening structure, and so is UROY. It's a different kind of broadening structure, but looks good to me. Deep yellow still chugging along. Do we have data from today, April 1st? Nope, still waiting on deep yellow. We'll review that in the next video. F3 Uranium Corp. I like the look of this one. This one is also in a structure of some sort. You know, I don't want to say it's a rising wedge, but it could be a rising wedge, but this could just be, it could also be a bullish wedge. You know, not every rising wedge has to be bearish. I think this is going to pop because I think the uranium sector is going to keep going up personally. CAP, I don't think we do have some data. No, we don't. I'm sorry, boys. ISO. Nice little pop today, up 7.4%. No drawings on this one. I got to get working on that one. Western Uranium, again, shoulder, head, shoulder. This is just buying its time before an explosive move upwards, in my opinion. If we want to compare it to the S&P, look at that. I mean, this is just waiting, lurking against gold. Woo! I like the look of that. I like the look of that. And against URA, yeah. So I love the well-defined trend lines against these other sectors and assets. It really will help us get some accuracy on, if we're not in yet, when to get in. And then Canalaska, man, this is a breakout and a back test, and looks like a resumption up. Just gonna, you know, you'd love to see it keep going and maybe pop out of this channel. I think that would be sick. But again, look at this breakout on the momentum. Close to breaking out versus the S&P, and it looks like it's breaking out versus gold. Kind of just poked its head up, retest. Same thing with URA, guys. Canalaska's looking great. It's looking great. I think these that are in the middle of the pack, they'll soon potentially rotate into the leaders. I'm not going to go through the laggings right now. Right now I have BSK, FMC, AEC, PEN, GXU, and FIND, baseload. Going to hold off on these guys. You know, they don't really deserve our attention quite yet. You know, for example, BSK, ugly ass chart in my opinion, but can be explosive. So I'll keep an eye on those guys for you. What I really like, moral of the story, look at next gen. Unbelievable looking chart. URA. Guys, zoom out, see the bigger picture. Yeah, there was some volatility, and now we're back in the green for the most part. We still want to close this month strong, but man, what a great start to April, a great start to the fiscal Q2. And yeah, drop me a like, drop me a sub if you guys like this stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.